Speaking out about having positive conversations with kids about sex is Jonny Hunt, a lecturer in applied social sciences, childhood and youth at the University of Bedfordshire, a relationships and sex education consultant, the founder of Going Off the Rails, and the author of Sex Ed for Grown-Ups, How to Talk to Children and Young People About Sex and Relationships. Jonny is out to make it easier for parents to talk openly, honestly, and positively with their kids about sex and relationships at the dinner table, in the supermarket, anywhere, anytime. So what is sex anyway? I mean, people have so many different attitudes and assumptions about it, but I like the advice for parents that you have about telling kids what sex is. And I'm going to quote you here, something that grown-ups do because it can feel nice. And it's the closest two people get to each other when they really like, love, fancy, care for each other. They might kiss and get undressed and stroke each other all over. And what I really like about this description as well is that it also could include people who are gay having sex.
That kind of quote is from talking at primary school, when you're doing kind of lessons with 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old. There is a lot of views of sex when we talk to young people about sex. It's still that sex is penis and vagina sex between a man and a woman who really love each other and are married. We still have a very conservative kind of normalized view about what we should be teaching young people about sex. And that's really sad. We're kind of, we're saying it's something that adults do, which put it in the future. So it kind of distances. The next part is it's talking about the intimacy and the closeness that happens between two people, which most people want. It doesn't say when you love each other necessarily.
Do you recognize this? It's
one of
your cards.
Yes.
And it says, sleeping around, sex can be a bit of fun, but making love and being loved aren't the same thing.
Often teenagers especially are told by the safe adults around them that you should only have sex with people you love. But you're almost kind of saying, well, I'm in love and I'm 16, so I have to do it. The age of 16 is not this magic day where, you know, the night before your 16th birthday, you get a bed saying, no, mum, not dad, I'm not ready for sex. And then your mum brings you a big birthday cake, you blow out your candles, I'm ready now. It's not like that. Some people are ready before and some people are ready after. That's something that I talk to young people a lot about, is the only person who knows you're ready is you. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean that sex is going to be safe or they're going to treat you particularly nicely.
So one of the questions you do often get asked by young people is, how do you know when you're ready for sex? So you've compiled a doing it checklist. Jonny, what's on your list? Name a few things.
So the practical sort of stuff is, have I got condoms? Do I know how to use them? You know, are we on long-term contraception? Is there somewhere safe that we can actually do it at a place? Before you even get to that level is, what do you know? Are you ready to enjoy the sex that you're going to have? Do you know how your body works? Do you know what turns you on? Do you know what feels nice for you? Because if you don't, it's not going to work. It's not going to be pleasurable. You're doing it to please somebody else, not for you. From like a female perspective of understanding what your sexuality is and how that works, is if we can empower you to understand how your body works and what you like, you're more likely to be having sex that you're choosing to have rather than having sex because you feel like you should. And you're more likely to enjoy it, which hopefully that's what we want for, you know, our teenagers, is to have sex because they really enjoy it and they think it's amazing. And I think that's a really difficult thought for parents. We're trying to protect young people, but what are we trying to protect them from? Having a good time? We're trying to protect them from enjoying their sex life or taking control of their sex life. What we don't really like is thinking about teenagers as being sexual beings in any way, shape or form. They're still our little ones. And that's a real challenge as a parent, to try and kind of go, well, actually, no, they are growing up. And however uncomfortable that makes me or how little I'm ready for it, they're ready to experience the world and enjoy it and get the most out of it. Teaching consent is much better to teach it through a pleasure point of view rather than a legal point of view. The way you find out if your partner's enjoying themselves is to ask. You're checking in at every single stage and asking, is this okay? Does this feel all right? Which is what consent's about, not can we have sex? Yes, and then you can do whatever you want. That's not, well, they didn't say stop. It's really difficult to say stop to somebody or say no, because all the fun stuff that you're enjoying stops too. And there's this whole kind of insecurity about, oh, do you not love me? Oh, did I do something wrong? Or, you know, it's all that sort of awkwardness. And no, I just wasn't enjoying that little bit, but the rest is really cool. It's really hard to say stop and no. And it kind of puts the onus on the person who's feeling uncomfortable to speak up, not the person who's doing the thing that's making you uncomfortable, which again is the wrong perspective. We should be checking in with both, you know, as both partners saying, is this okay? Can we do that? Does that feel nice? That's consent. That's really good consent. And then we come to like puberty, and boys are taught about erections and ejaculation and wet dreams, and girls get tampons and period pain. That doesn't feel very balanced. We're kind of building this weird thing where sex is, oh, but for boys, really good fun, and girls get responsibility and pain. We wonder why sex is still something that boys do to girls. It's not something that they do together. It's very, very rare in school if girls will ever be shown a picture of a vulva. Instead, they'll get the internal diagram of the womb and the ovaries that looks like a sheep's head. That's really weird because they're never shown what a vulva looks like, which is the bits that have got all the pleasure. That is ridiculous. How on earth can you be safe or sexually active or take control if you don't know how your body works? That's bizarre. I rant about this a lot, sorry.
I've heard anecdotally from other sex educators that often boys are more interested in hearing about pleasure for girls and women, perhaps through viewing porn, even at a young age, 12, 13, 14, 15. Have you had that kind of experience about boys wanting to know about what gives girls pleasure?
We have this idea that the alpha males have to chase the girls, and girls' jobs is to resist, and kind of if you try really hard, then they'll give in. That's the kind of social scripts we have. Lads want to have lots of sex with many different girls, and that you get your lad points, and the more you sleep around, the more manly you get. It's your manhood and all that kind of nonsense. But equally, be good at sex. That's what makes you a really good guy. The pressure is on guys. It's like they're in the driving seat. They have to do everything, and women are just passive. We talk about sperms and eggs and babies and contraception, but there's very little about how to actually have sex, or what that might look like, or what it might feel like, or how consent looks at different stages, where you're going to learn it from. And it's not even just about porn. The sex in mainstream films and movies is no better or more positive. Is they make out for 2 seconds up against the wall, bashing furniture around, and then suddenly he goes straight inside her, and they both orgasm within 30 seconds. The sex is still unrealistic, unhelpful for how to make it pleasurable for you or your partner, or talking about consent.
You're actually doing a whole PhD about porn, so you're immersed in this topic.
When it comes to pornography, there's been a number of studies done, especially for gay young men. That is one of the only places they can learn about how to have sex, because we don't talk about same-sex experiences. If your lesson is about contraception and STIs, the STIs bit is useful, the contraception, nothing to do with me. And if we're talking about penis and vaginal reproductive sex, yeah, still not helpful. Where else are they supposed to learn? It's kind of saying that porn is a bad place to learn from. Yes, it is, as an only source. But actually, for some young people, it can open doors into who they really are and what they really want. If we're worried about young people learning about sex from porn, what are they learning from porn that we're not teaching them? And one of the biggest problems that we have about things like pornography is if young people are watching it or see something, they can't talk about it because we shame them and say it's bad. If you're watching something that makes you feel confused, you go, "Oh, Mum, we're watching EastEnders. What's this?" Nobody's ever come down the stairs and gone, "Hey, Mum, I was just watching porn. Can I talk to you about it?" That's part of the issue, is that secrecy, that distance, that something's bothered me and I can't talk about it because of this barrier of shame. And I think that's what's sad. Having conversations with young people around, well, it's not real, that's not how it really works, but it's over there and we can talk about it. What can we do to make young people safe? Or what can I do to help a young person come walk through my office door and have a chat with me and ask me for help? Because at the moment, a lot of the ways we're approaching topics that make us uncomfortable is to slam that door really hard in young people's face. So I used to work on a website as an agony aunt, and the amount of questions we used to get from girls about discharge, because nobody tells girls when we do that puberty workshop that suddenly you're going to start producing more discharge, and it's normal. That's like it's cleaning itself. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. This is what normal looks like. We're creating problems by not telling everybody something that happens to 50% of the population, and we make it dirty and weird. It doesn't make any sense.
As parents, we're fine with telling little kids about how to behave and how to treat other people, but then not so good about telling teenagers that kind of thing about when it comes to sex. So you have a great analogy about jumping on the furniture.
I think we're really good with little ones about going, "Oh, don't snatch, always ask, play nicely." But what we miss is realizing they're all lessons about consent. And if you start using that language and helping your child make decisions, and giving them choices and saying it's okay to say no, they're skills that you have to practice. When you're helping children do their coats up, just that simple question of, "Would you like me to zip it up, or can you do it? Shall I hold it for you? How can I help you?" Suddenly models that asking for permission. Think about how we teach children to cross the road, and we do this whole kind of weird miming performance of look left and look right. It's just asking parents to do that same thing, but around asking for permission. How we touch children, we create that muscle memory for asking permission. Before you drop your your 7-year-old off at a birthday party. There's certain things that all parents say. They always say, remember your pleasing and thank you, be respectful, have fun, don't jump on the furniture is the other one that I usually throw in there. But then when we could take our teenager to their boyfriend or girlfriend's house and we drop them off or to go to a party, it's very rare that we talk about their manners. We tell them not to drink and not to get too drunk, but we don't talk about how to treat people. There's no conversation about, remember your please and thank yous. Oh, that's completely about consent, isn't it? It's that message of, we don't tell them to enjoy things and have fun anymore. And like I said, the rules are the same. The only one that kind of is still a rule is jumping on the furniture is kind of the point of it. If you're going to go have sex with your partner, that's what sex is, jumping on the furniture together. And we're not very good at talking about good manners in the bedroom. I ask kids, how many of your parents have taught you about what you want from sex and what it should feel like, and what kind of values you have around any of that, or how to enjoy it, or how to do it safely, or how to treat people? Oh no, we don't do that. And it's really interesting that of how much emphasis we stick over here on our life skills and our professional career path, whereas our personal relationships is just equally as important, if not more important, and yet nobody's talking about it. It's just this complete lack of skill set that young people have, and we wonder why there's issues. The language that young men especially use about having sex with their partners, it's all trophy based. It's all kind of violent. You take somebody's virginity. What's your body count as the worst one? What are we, serial killers? It's weird. If you can change it to being a team sport, that's much better. It's not something you're doing to somebody, it's something you do with somebody. But you can only do something with somebody if they're on your team.
You write in your book about your daughter, who's now 13, and I want to quote you on this. I hope that she learns what she likes and frankly how to masturbate guilt and shame-free. But equally, I always knock.
I think the best way of talking about these kind of things with children is to build up body positivity from day one. It's when you're bathing your toddler, we talk about where we wash and how we do that, and we use the correct words, and we do it without holding our breath or now wash your private, and whispering things. Say it. It's absolutely fine. We need to wash outside your vulva. You need to wash your penis. Okay, cool. It's fine. But if you're hesitant and embarrassed by it, then you put that onto your child. It's explained in when we can be naked, when we can't, what's public and what's private, what private spaces are. Lots of small children will sit and have a play because it feels nice. It's not a masturbation in that sort of way. It's just this, it feels nice. It's tingly. I remember having a dad who came up to me after a parents meeting and he said, my little boy, he every time we put him to bed, I read to him, and then he'll roll over on his front and have his hands down his pants, and he has like a shuffle and he goes to sleep. And he was saying that I've been taught that that's wrong and shameful, but he seems really happy. That's just perfectly developmentally normal. I do talk about parts of our bodies feel nice and what public behaviors and private behaviors are. What I think we need to teach children is they have a right to enjoy their body in every sense, whether we're talking about tickling, jumping off climbing frames, or what feels nice, what doesn't feel nice, and that nobody should touch them in a way they don't like. Your body is fantastic and amazing. It's the best piece of kit you're ever going to own. It's better than the latest iPhone. It's cooler, and you can enjoy your body any way you want as long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else.
Yeah, often parents and teachers don't want to tell kids about the idea that generally people have sex because it's pleasurable. But you said that if kids understand that sex is something that they should enjoy, then if they have a first sexual encounter and something doesn't feel right, and I like this, what you said, boom, a little hand grenade can go off and spark the thought, it shouldn't be like this. So
yeah,
tell us about how parents can be comfortable around getting the message across that sex is a natural part of life and intimate and caring and positive.
Why don't we want children to think that this thing is nice? Surely we do. If nobody's giving you that message that sex is something that's nice or feels good or should feel good, doesn't always, but it can do, then when they are teenagers and having sex for the first time, why would they expect it to feel good? Where's that coming from if no safe adults ever told them that it should be something they enjoy? When you speak to 7-8-year-olds and say, yeah, sex is something grown-ups do, it feels nice, that's like, why would you even kiss each other? It's flicks that switch for much later on to go, oh yeah, they were right, it does feel nice, or this is supposed to feel nice, why doesn't it? That's the really important one. I don't understand why we find that so weird. If you tell those 8, 9, 10-year-olds that having these conversations about their bodies and puberty and stuff and how you make babies, there's the worry that they'll want to do it. It's important they have that knowledge. It certainly doesn't encourage anything. And in fact, all the evidence says is the earlier we have these conversations, the later they end up having sex in the first place, and the more likely they are to do it safely and not regret it.
How can talking openly at home strengthen the parent-child connection?
There's certain people you talk to openly, and the reason you talk to them openly is that they've earned that right. You trust them. They've put the time in, the effort in. They'll tell you you're being daft when you're being daft, but they won't kind of judge you. If you're sat watching TV with them and a girl shares an image with a partner, you go, oh my God, I can't believe she's done that. How stupid of her. Why would your daughter come and talk to you when she's done the same? Because she's already listened and you've gone, can't talk to you about that. As adults, quite often we shut a lot of doors. We say, we can't talk about that. I'm judgmental about that. Whereas those little conversations you're putting on like green lights saying that this is okay. So we do a lot of kind of talk at the dinner table. It's kind of a bit pantomime of, oh, what would you do if you were in that situation? If only they had a dad they could talk to. And so it's just about earning as many brownie points as you can. When you're watching telly, be non-judgmental. It's about when you're in the car and you talk about what's on the radio, or you talk openly to your partner or other people in the house about what's going on in the media and saying that you're okay with it. Use the correct words for body parts. When you go to the supermarket, go down the feminine hygiene aisle and go, oh, look at these new ones, and have that conversation in front of people like it doesn't matter, like you're not embarrassed, it's fine. It's all those kind of things of what's the message of what I'm saying and how I'm behaving. The more you can be modeling those good things yourselves, the better. It's about sort of kind of almost faking it till you make it. Keep practicing saying the word vulva out loud, and and eventually it becomes normal. But what you're doing is normalize it for your toddler. So when they are adults, it is now normal. You've got to just take the hit and get over it. And I think it's that change of view again of how we help young people to talk to us. I don't pretend I've got all the answers. My 13-year-old daughter doesn't talk to me. She rolls her eyes at me and tells me to shut up because I'm her dad. But it's about her knowing that she can, is the important thing. You can't make someone talk to you, but what you can do is kind of keep your doors open for when they want to.
Hi, I'm Leah, Director of Outspoken Sex Ed. We're out to make parents feel more comfortable and confident talking openly and honestly with their kids about sex and relationships topics, and even enjoy learning from them. Outspoken is a social enterprise, which means that we survive in large part thanks to your donations. So please head over to outspokeneducation.com. It's our great website where you can donate and sign up for our fantastic newsletter and begin having these conversations more easily and openly with your kids starting now.